What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. With the introduction of patch 5.5, the champion meta shifted quite a bit, especially since Riot has been making drastic changes to champions recently. So here are my top picks for each role for the strongest champions in solo queue. Let's get started. Starting off in the top lane, we actually have Sion. Although the mana cost changes in 5.5 to Sion's abilities were technically kind of a nerf, the huge buff to Righteous Glory actually helped him out a ton, and Sion has a bunch of build paths where you can pick up some mana. And with an early flask, mana isn't really that big of a problem on him. He has fantastic crowd control as well as poke in lane with reasonable range on his abilities, and the crowd control to help you get some favorable trades too, and get kill pressure in lane as well. And his shield helps a bunch with sustain. Not to mention he's a very easy lane to gank for, and his ultimate is just amazing for both picks, teamfights, and roams, allowing you to translate your leads to other areas of the map quite easily. He gets crazy tanky and does lots of damage still, so he's pretty much the #1 bruiser in the game right now. The crowd control that Sion has in his kit, being that every single ability is area of effect, lets you have a huge impact in teamfights, even if you feed super hard in lane. So no matter what happens early game, you will always be super useful late game, just because you're playing Sion, and that's really awesome for a kid to have. Add into that is significant damage and insane tankiness, and you're left with a super strong bruiser that performs not only amazing in solo queue, but at the competitive level as well. For mid lane, we have Katarina, as one of the only surviving assassins in the game that's left, and with essentially confirmed nerfs for her in patch 5.6, the assassin playstyle is definitely dying out. However, Katarina in patch 5.5 is somewhat of a shining beacon that's left, and she's able to perform the assassin role extremely well. Her damage and mobility is fantastic, and the nerf to her passive really didn't hurt her at all, so she's still a massive dominant area of effect DPSer in teamfights, and the snowball potential she has is just massive. If you pick up just 2 kills, you can burst carries before they can even react to you, and even if you fall a bit behind, her area of effect damage can still do tons of works in teamfights, and her mobility still gives her some pick potential, even if you are behind. Add in the fact that people do a really poor job of cancelling her ultimate in solo queue, and you're left with a mid lane champion that has the highest win rate in the game of all the mid laners, at about 54.5%, which is actually crazy for a mid laner. After a tiny bit of practice, she becomes really easy to dominate on, and really just has all of the qualities of a champion that dominates solo queue, with the snowballing mobility and absurd AoE damage allowing you to just melt teamfights if you're snowballing, leaving Katarina as a fairly strong champion. For jungle, we have Sejuani. Sejuani is a prime example of what happens when a champion gets an indirect buff, and I might actually make a full video dedicated to her in a few days, but essentially, she was a champion that had absolutely insane utility with 2 hard crowd control abilities as well as massive slows and tankiness, and some decent damage too. Her area of effect ultimate is one of the strongest teamfight initiators in the game, and a good Sejuani ultimate can single-handedly win a game. It's just that good. Previously, she had some minor problems in the jungle that she would take a bit too much damage and clear a little slow early, but with the nerfs to the jungle in patch 5.5, those problems were actually completely thrown out the door, and she's risen up to be extremely versatile and powerful. Her damage when you build full tank is still actually quite relevant, so she's able to dominate teamfights while having insane kiting, pick potential, and initiations, as well as now a reasonable early game and some fantastic ganks. Being able to gank before level 6 as a jungler in solo queue is actually super important, and Sejuani definitely can with the amount of crowd control that she has on her kit. With Purple Smite, her clear speed after the first clear is pretty much negligible, and so she's easily the one who benefited the most from the nerfs to the jungle, and it's put her on top, and so she's sporting a massive 57% plus win rate, which is actually just insane, the highest in the game right now. For AD carry, we have Jinx once again actually. Now, it really is kind of a toss-up between the top 4 of Jinx, Sivir, Graves, and Lucian, and honestly I probably could have made a case for any of those 4 champions to be #1, but I think Jinx takes it by just a slight edge since she does a great job of performing the hyper carry role, and in a meta where Riot is continually nerfing assassins patch after patch, hyper carries can really shine through, and Jinx is by far the best AD carry hyper carry in the game right now. The utility that she gets of having 2 guns is actually really amazing because she can get an attack speed steroid or do area of effect damage with high range from just her auto attacks. Her traps and zap help kite and chase effectively, so it gives her some decent pick potential that can actually be more useful than you might expect. And of course, it's no secret that her passive can help snowball teamfights really easily. And the area of effect nuke on her ultimate is surprisingly useful, especially to help proc her passive, since hyper carries tend to have this problem where they can get off a bunch of DPS and then their target will just run away, and then a teammate of that target will step up and zone out the AD carry from chasing further and then prevent them from finishing off the kill. But Jinx's ultimate can really fix that problem, proc her passive, and then you can just go off in the rest of the teamfight with the extra mobility. So overall, her utility and hyper carry tendencies put her in a really good spot right now. And lastly, on support, we actually have Blitzcrank. Now the key thing that happened to Blitzcrank was that the AD carries that beat him in lane and have effective counterplay to his hook have really fallen out of the meta. I'm talking to AD carries who could still get hit by the hook and then use their mobility spell anyways to get out of it, effectively cancelling the hook, like say Tristana and Ezreal. The AD carries that are played now do have mobility, but it's actually not that difficult to outplay since players will tend to dodge in the exact same way every single time, so you can get a read on them and then go for an easy Mad Life play. But other than that, Blitzcrank is pretty much the #1 support in terms of pick potential, and although we might have a rough time fitting team comps, that really just doesn't matter in solo queue, and creating picks is actually the most important thing for you to do as a support in terms of carrying a game, and it's no secret that Blitzcrank's kit lets you do that. He can also do a great job of protecting carries in teamfights with an area of effect silence and 2 hard crowd control abilities. Hooking an assassin or bruiser away from your carry is actually massive in fights and really does a ton for kiting, and so overall he's able to perform the standard role of a support quite effectively, all while still having the massive pick potential left in his kit, making him a fantastic champion for solo queue. My name is Jeremy, and that's it for my video on the Overpowered champions on patch 5.5. This video was sponsored by OpinionOutpost.com. It's a pretty cool, completely legitimate website that you can use to fill in surveys for free. I can definitely attest to its legitimacy, and you can earn PayPal money, gift cards, RP, and more for free. Companies are very interested in your data, and so you can easily get paid for answering surveys for those companies on Opinion Outpost. Use the link in the description to support me and definitely check it out. Hey guys, it's me, Jeremy. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure to hit that like button so I can tell, and if you're interested, definitely check me out over on all the socials, of which you can see over there. And if you really enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future, and definitely check out some of my other videos as well, up here and over there. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thanks again for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.